In a world torn by division, inequality, and spiritual confusion, one man has emerged not only as a religious leader, but as a global symbol of humility, compassion, and reform. His name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio, but the world knows him as Pope Francis, the first pope from the Americas, the first Jesuit pope, and the first to take the name of Francis in honor of the saint of the poor. This is not just the story of a pope, it's the story of a man who walks with the people and who has challenged the very institution he leads. Born in 1936 to Italian immigrants in Buenos Aires, Jorge Mario Bergoglio grew up in a working-class neighborhood. He was the eldest of 5 children. His father was a railway worker, his mother a homemaker. Life was simple, yet not without struggle. From a young age, Jorge showed a deep sense of introspection. He loved literature, chemistry, and football. At 21, a severe illness left him bedridden with a lung infection. It was during this time that he felt a powerful call to the priesthood, a turning point that would forever shape his destiny. Bergoglio entered the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, known for their intellectual rigor, missionary zeal, and commitment to social justice. He was ordained in 1969, and his rise through the church was swift, yet always marked by humility. As a seminary leader, he emphasized simplicity. As a bishop and later Archbishop of Buenos Aires, he became known for rejecting the trappings of power. Photos of Bergoglio taking the bus, visiting slums, helping the poor. Narrator. He lived in a small apartment, cooked his own meals, and rode public transport. But most importantly, he went to the people, especially the poor. He was not a bishop of palaces, but of the streets. Chapter 3. The Election, 5:30 to 7:30. Footage of the 2013 conclave, Vatican crowds, white smoke rising, announcement from the balcony. Narrator. Following the historic resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013, the conclave of cardinals gathered to choose the next spiritual leader of 1.3 billion Catholics. Few expected the name of Jorge Bergoglio, but on March 13th, the world watched as white smoke rose above the Sistine Chapel, and then a new voice spoke. Buenos Aires. Pope Francis had arrived. From the very beginning, his humility was on full display. He bowed before the crowd and asked them to pray for him, before he blessed them. Francis quickly became known as the People's Pope. He refused the luxurious papal apartment. He sold the ornate papal throne. He ditched the bulletproof Pope mobile for a modest Fiat. He visited refugee camps, prisons, disaster zones, and places previous popes had never gone. His message was clear. The Church must be a field hospital, near the suffering. He called on world leaders to act on climate change, condemned greed and inequality, and urged Catholics to welcome migrants and the marginalized. But reform rarely comes without resistance. Pope Francis has faced intense criticism. From conservatives within the Church and from secular critics alike, his efforts to make the Church more inclusive, especially toward divorced Catholics, LGBTQ+ people, and interfaith dialogue, have stirred fierce debate. Even more painful were the abuse scandals that rocked the Church. Francis has apologized, instituted new policies, and removed bishops, but critics argue more must be done. Yet through it all, Francis continues to walk forward, with the cross on his shoulders and the weight of centuries on his back. In an increasingly secular world, Pope Francis stands as a rare moral voice, not a politician, not a celebrity, but a pastor. He's met with presidents and prisoners, scientists and skeptics. He's preached to empty streets during a global pandemic, and through it all, he has reminded the world that mercy is not weakness, and love is not naive. His encyclicals have shaped global conversations on the environment, human dignity, and the future of humanity itself. As the years pass, questions arise about what Pope Francis's legacy will be. Is he a radical reformer, a bridge builder, a gentle shepherd in a storm? In a world desperate for healing, Pope Francis has become a voice that calls us back to the basics: love, mercy, simplicity, and service. He is Pope Francis, a man of contradictions, of courage, of Christ, not perfect, but deeply human, and still, in his own words, a sinner whom the Lord has looked upon.